All right, we're back, and hopefully the shit is unfucked. But let's check and see.
Is this shit unfucked?
Can somebody
Is this shit
tell me-
unfucked?
Can
Hey, guys.
somebody
Man
tell
can
me,
answer, and I think
please, if
Captain
this
Crunch.
shit is unfucked?
Is this shit unfucked? What do you think?
Is this shit unfucked?
Hey, sound off in the comments. Is this shit unfucked?
Where are we? It says.
Sound
It
off in
sounds
the
good.
comments phonetically what you think the lyrics after
Are
Put
we
That Thing Down,
live
Flip It, and
yet?
Reverse It are
Yes.
by
It
Missy
sounds
Elliott.
good.
I can't
sounds-
even find. Okay,
It sounds good to me. It sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's good. We're good. We're good.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So it was the audio for anybody who cares if you're back. Whoever would have thought that it was just simply the audio bitrate settings. Jeez.
Oh
the,
yeah.
The sample
Who
rate.
could have ever imagined?
I was messing with the settings and I must have accidentally nudged the sample rate setting.
I know.
Jeez.
I know a thing or two about bit rates.
I think
that dog bit the fuck out of me.
and you would rate that experience 0.
Yeah, I would rate that. I would rate that poorly. I'll tell you that much, brother.
You did leave a review on Yelp just for the concept of
All right.
dogs.
Oh,
Bad.
gosh. You
I
guys,
didn't like it.
that was
Yeah,
frustrating.
I got temporarily banned from Yelp for reviewing animals and just people. I would say that the guy who was mean to me outside of the gas station at the corner of Van Dyke, 1 star. He was very rude and he didn't have to say those mean things to me. I was just trying to get gas and don't understand how pumps work.
Ugh. You guys, I think we just recorded the best half hour of this podcast we've ever done, and it's probably 0%
sucks.
usable. I think literally 0% we can use. Jeez.
I'm sure we can find another reason to bark about cereal for a half hour.
What do you?
I'm sure we'll be able to figure that out.
Well, I'm glad that we got it figured out. I'm really happy about it, if I'm being honest. So anyways, Simpsons, guys. Simpsons. I'm
You're
glad.
listening to Homerphilia, and it's a show where we talk about The Simpsons. Today, we're talking about Homer Defined.
Yeah,
Art
the-
Dangus wants to see my dirty afro. It's not quite an afro, but it is. It's hair.
Hey, Bart, what are you burning in your backyard? I was just looking at your
Yeah,
Instagram
Bart,
story.
you
Look
can't-
at it. You've got like a trash fire and like an oil.
You got a
drum can,
literal
like a hobo.
trash fire. You can't burn shingles.
Where do you live, Bart? That rocks. Can you
It
just
doesn't
burn?
rock. It doesn't rock.
Folks, you heard it here first, folks. Bart Dangus says that you're allowed to burn whatever you want on your property because only God can tell you what to do.
Right. Are you saying, oh my God, yuck, to your garage burning or to my hair?
probably both.
Both, baby.
So he tore down his garage and burnt it, is what I'm to understand.
You
right?
can.
That's living up to your name, Bart. I'll tell you that much.
It just kind of
that
seems
little-
like
that little
maybe.
rapscallion, he would definitely burn personal property.
Bart, maybe you should have just burned it instead of tearing it down. Don't you think you could have skipped a step in there? Oh, don't talk shit about my hair in the comments. Who do you think you are? You got
All right,
fucking.
so
You got
Folks-
the worst, longest, greasiest fucking hair around.
Look at this.
I
He
know,
just
dude. He
tore it
straight up.
down.
He just knocked down. You could have just lit it on fire. Why didn't you just light it on fire? You're a disappointment, Bart.
I guarantee that.
Oh, he's got a literal, a literal like garbage fire.
Yeah, like a little oil.
Oh, I
drum
thought it was
fire.
like a garbage fire. Like I have a garbage fire, but I have a fire pit that I burn garbage wood in, whereas Bart has a literal garbage can on fire. So
Yes.
that
So we,
separates us.
We had some technical issues. We had to stop our stream, and we're gonna start it off again. Do you guys just want to start this like it's an episode of Homerphilia?
And we're gonna run for another 55 minutes and 33 seconds.
In
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, jeez.
bum,
So everybody, just so you know,
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Homerphilia.
you are
a
listening to
Simpsons Saga,
Homerphilia, the
podcast
Simpsons
where we
Saga, a
discuss
podcast where we discuss
the context and mores of
and
the
mores
Simpsons,
of the Simpsons,
TV show that's been on the
the
air
Simpsons,
for 30
the
years now
Simpsons,
running. My name's
the
Devin James
Simpsons,
Rosenau.
the Simpsons,
And here's
the
co-host
Simpsons,
Andy Reid
the
and our
Simpsons,
trusty engineer, Darren Shelton.
What?
That's you.
Oh, me. Yeah. So, I really think that we just had the most quality half hour of the show we've ever had. And in typical Homerphilia fashion, we lost all of it due to a technical difficulty and a bitrate error.
I just want everybody to know where our standards are at. And when we say that this was the best 30 minutes of comedy that we've ever produced, it's probably a good thing that you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Because you would be laughing so hard that you would be peeing all over the place, and maybe that your gut would bust so hard that you would have to go to the hospital.
We're talking,
and trust me,
we don't want you in the hospital.
We're talking visceral comedy here.
We don't want you in the hospitals. We don't want to be we don't want to be held responsible for any more busted guts. Because let me tell you something, brother. We've busted our fair share of guts in sometimes, and what I don't want to have happen is to be so funny that I kill another man from it laughing so hard.
Is that what you've been referring to when you say I gotta go bust up in them guts?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying traditionally when you leave because you're like, sorry, I gotta get out of here, about to go bust in them guts?
What I'm saying is that what I'm doing is going and finding people on the street and making them laugh so hard that they get hurt.
It's like when the Mars attacks hear yodeling, but the guts and Andy's jokes.
Yes. And
so when you, because I have heard you say to people before, hey, can I bust up in your guts?
Yes.
And
what I'm saying
that is what you mean.
You know what, Andy? Now that I hear your perspective, I don't think you deserve to get slapped.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I want to make you laugh so hard that you will become physically ill.
Yeah, totally.
And that you're doubled over in on the street and having gut pain.
Okay, so all the times you say, "Hey, let me come over there and rearrange your guts."
Yeah, I'm talking about making you laugh so hard that you're
Gotcha.
Because for me as an artist, the mark of a true comedian is that people leave and their tummies hurt so bad they have to go hospital.
Right. All true art should give you a really bad tummy ache.
Yes. And that's what, for me, that's what happens when I go see good movies. Like what's a movie that made you hurt so bad that you had to go to the hospital?
For me, Good Burger.
Yeah. So I got to go to the hospital because I laughed so hard because Mondo Burgers is so much bigger than normal burger.
Mondo Burger's way too big.
It's
way too big.
So when you're watching and then they have the burger and it comes out and it's so big that it would.
That's a honking burger.
Yeah, like never ever would a real burger be that big, and then it's bigger even than you would think.
We'd be way in trouble if it did.
Then I'm laughing so hard, and then also because then he's in the shake machine and he's pramping.
Hey, he's bloop 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 bloop. Okay.
Blooping and blooping, and that I'm like, well, if I want a shake, guess what I don't want in it is a person.
Cal Mitchell. But, however, this did pose a big problem for you because you did check on the form. When you went to the hospital for your arm, when you hurt it on the bike, you did check the form that I've seen Good Burger before, and they consider that a pre-existing condition and can deny you coverage based on that.
Yeah, so I had to pay out of pocket for my arm surgery because I exposed myself to health risks by watching Good Burger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Watching Good Burger is a pre-existing condition. Yeah, it'll bust up your guts.
We all know that the healthcare system is corrupt, but I think it's fair for the health corporations to be able to deny you coverage if you've exposed yourself to that movie because that's a wanton disregard for your own health.
Exactly.
You know how many people got hurt watching it from laughing so hard, and why would you even expose yourself to that?
Yeah, plus the wontons, like you were saying.
Yes, and because the wontons made me real sick.
You ate too many of them, and then that is part of the diarrhea you're having, and the guts are all fucked up.
Because the doctor told me that I had to stop eating so much thick cream cheese, but then I had too many of those crab rangoon wontons, and I wouldn't stop. So he made me,
Well, you were worried that you got rabies for a while because you kept saying that you ate too much crab raccoon, and it appeared to me that you thought that they were frying some raccoon meat in
No, I
the
was.
flaky outer. You were adding raccoon meat to your crab rangoon.
Yes,
You were making your own food called crab raccoon.
I was making my own food called crab raccoon, and what I would do is I would buy, those vacuum sealed packages of crab with a K.
Of course.
And it's not real crab, and who knows what it is. There's no way of finding out what's actually in that stuff, but it looks like crab, and it tastes like plastic. And what we do is we make it and then put it on fried raccoon meat. And
crab raccoon.
Crab raccoon, and guess what? People hated it. And I for a while was selling it from a little hut outside of my house. But the city said you got to stop because this is in violation of almost every health code law we have on the books.
Wow.
So if you guys would like to try my crab raccoon, I can't technically sell it anymore, but I am allowed to give it away and ask for donations.
Well, and then for a while you were pitching it to everyone as, oh, there was a misfire in my kitchen factory, and just saying it's oops all raccoon.
Yeah.
And you were just offering people just raccoon meat. And
well, because what happened is that the Kroger by my house found out what I was doing and said that the city told them that I couldn't buy it anymore. And so because you can't hunt your own fake crab meat. I tried to hunt my own fake crab meat, but it's not a thing that can happen.
It's really hard to catch imitation crab. You almost never find them.
You almost never find it in the wild.
For imitation crab out in the wild and cannot.
There's only like 3 or 4 spots in the world where imitation crab it runs wild.
Exactly.
I'm not near any of them. So yeah, for a while I was just selling raw raccoon meat out of the trunk of my car. But once again, that gets shut down very quickly.
Imitation crab is made with a type of fish called surimi, and they add filler, flavoring, and color. It's made with a different fish.
It's amazing.
Ew. So I assumed it was just like synthetic crab.
Wait, what is the other fish?
Surimi.
You should make imitation surimi then.
James Surimi. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I found out the hard way from selling raw raccoon meat out of the trunk of my car that even if a business went out of business and it's just a vacant building now, somebody still owns that property. And if you're
you learn the hard way.
And if you're selling crab meat or raccoon meat out of the trunk of your car in an abandoned parking lot, there's still an owner who can tell you to leave his private property. Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts.
It's very nuts.
I know, because I was doing a lot of business in the parking lot of a Blockbuster. And I said, because Mr. Blockbuster died and had to shut down all of his video factories, then I can just do business out of here. And that is not the case.
Damn, we just lost. We lost a viewer to the new Simpsons episode that starts in 4 minutes. Is that?
That's tragic.
Yeah.
Simpsons is live in 4 minutes on Fox.
Right.
Somebody's going to watch a current episode of The Simpsons
over us. Yeah.
It is kind of funny that we counter-programmed against The Simpsons.
Yeah, we're the crab raccoon of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Season 31 of The Simpsons is a nice crab rangoon. We're crab.
Season 3 of Homerphilia's crab raccoon.
Crab raccoon.
Oh,
holy shit. That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Crab raccoon, baby.
What'd you guys think of this episode? We watched season 3, episode whatever. Homer Defined.
Loved it.
Very good. Very good at.
That's a good one.
I dug this episode. I dug it a lot.
Oh, guys, Pete Holmes is on this episode of The Simpsons, and he wrote it.
Pete Rose.
Pete Holmes wrote tonight's episode of The Simpsons and is the guest star.
Because he was gambling on sports?
Like the comedian Pete Holmes.
Pete Rose.
I thought you meant Homer defined.
No. I'm saying the episode that's on in 4 minutes. Pete Holmes wrote it.
Yeah, Pete Rose wrote it.
His voicing on it.
It's
a two-parter.
Wow.
What the fuck? Pete Holmes does whatever he wants, doesn't he?
How many two-parters have they had?
The fourth season of Crashing.
Yeah, except the fourth season of Crashing. Boom! Nailed him.
Paul Oparka says, "I do hope you guys eventually catch up to this." Oh, we will. We will catch up, Paul. We are. If you know anything about the group of the three of us, if the world continues moving and existing, we will continue doing this show. There is not a weak link in this chain of commitment to bits between the three of us, and we will go forever.
We've been doing 2 episodes a week for a little bit now, so we're at a pace even faster than we were before. But
we could ostensibly catch up in 8 years.
Yeah, wow.
Well, 6 to season 31.
Yeah. I will say that there are I am having a ton of fun with the show right now.
Yeah, there are lots.
Both parts of it are enjoyable. The watching of The Simpsons and
the Oingo and the Boingo.
The Oingo and the Boingo of it all. It's been fantastic. At a certain point, the quality of the show itself might suffer. I personally am dreading the episode we have to talk about. The Simpsons episode Simprovised, where Homer becomes an improviser. I'm really dreading that.
I'm excited.
Improv's already a humiliating thing,
dude. I think by the time we get, I honestly think that we'll be able to start doing episodes together again, hopefully in the next month or so.
Yes.
Which I'm looking forward to a lot, because then we can start
recording 4 per day every day.
Yeah. But then I think at that point, we've learned what this show is at this point. And when we're back in a room together, I think we'll be firing on all cylinders. And you guys are in for some fucking treats out there in Homerphiliac land. Right, that's what. Yeah,
I just can't wait to get back to wrestling. I haven't been able to wrestle with any of my buddies in a long time, and I would just love to just wrestle around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will I was crushed when Whitmer said that the stay-at-home order included no wrestling with the boys.
Yeah. No fellas wrestling.
No fellas wrestling. Cause what is the point of living if you can't do a little horseplay with the fellas?
Now, she said you could do the kissing kind of wrestling if you're married, but that's it.
Right. You can kiss wrestle with your significant other, but you can't. There's no
horseplay with the fellas.
Yeah.
No, sir.
There's my top 5 types of play are 1, horse, obviously, 2, the kind you see in a theater, 3, pressing play on a DVD. I love watching a movie.
4, dough.
Obviously,
play dough.
Because it smells like it would be bad for you, but it's technically non-toxic, so you can eat it.
I learned that from the one where Homer gains 61 pounds to become disabled.
Yes, he eats Play-Doh to get him over the edge, so he doesn't have to go to work.
Google Play.
Mm.
Oh, Station for sure.
Oh, I love a good PlayStation.
Love a good PlayStation.
Now let's break that down for a second. That is confident to name your business like this little station right here is where you go to play. Like, what if? But like, why isn't like a playground? But that's the same thing. They say this is the only ground that you can play. Right. This is the only ground you can play, and this is the only station you can play. I've played on a bunch of different ground, brother, and I'll tell you what. I'll play at any station I want to.
As part of Andy's 5 minutes of Seinfeldian comedy, what's the deal with them kids and their PlayStations?
Yeah. And
What's in a station where you play? I'm not supposed to play in any other station.
But like, I'll tell you what. When I was at that army station, I played a lot. I played all over that army station. Police stations.
I can't wait till Police Station 5 comes out.
Yeah, I love Police Station 4.
God,
PS2 was great because you could watch a DVD while you're at Police Station.
Yeah, because the Police Station 2 was the first one you could hook up Ethernet to.
Exactly.
And that is a real achievement in playing, because it's wild to think that PlayStation 2 had internet capabilities, but Police Station 4 is such a leap.
Yeah.
I heard that PlayStation 5 Police Station 5 rather will be backwards compatible, so you can serve all of the time you did in previous crimes.
Yeah. Yeah, you can revisit all of the interrogations, all of your interrogations. Yeah, like I want to revisit my police interrogation from Police Station 1, and remember how bad everything looked, but that the interrogations are from my childhood, so I still like them.
You remember them being cool, but then after about 4 minutes of revisiting it, you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
There's a reason this is in the past.
Yeah, yeah. We've moved on from this.
Oh man, my favorite police station memory was when I went to the police station 1 and I was just running and breaking all those crates to get apples while I was down the mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah, brother. I'll tell you what. The first time that I went to Police Station 2 was because I was buddies with this little tiny robot, and we collected all these friggin' wrenches and washers and bolts.
Oh wow!
And then that the big Quark was a hero, but end up being bad guy.
Classic.
Yeah, and that's the hit film Ratchet and Clank.
Yes, the hit film.
They made that a movie. They really did.
Did they really?
Yeah, it came and went. Do you remember when they they rebooted the franchise for PS4 and like redid Ratchet and Clank 1 with all the beautiful graphics and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That was because a movie was coming out.
That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's dumb. That's like making a Spyro the Dragon game, but I am realizing that there's a Spyro the Dragon TV series.
Is there really?
Yeah, it appears so.
Yeah. The tagline for Ratchet and Clank the movie was "Kick some asteroid."
Now that is funny.
Yes, because the height of comedy and why Hollywood is so good at what they do is that they have this thing where they have movies for kids, and so the plot and the writing and the voice acting and the animation don't have to be good, but then they give a little joke for the parents.
And that's ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
and the parents are laughing.
Because then it's for the kids, but then the joke is for the parents. Because then like what they'll do is like Mike Myers is Cat in the Hat, and he's in the garden and he picks up a hoe, and he talks to the hoe like a pimp, and kids don't know what's what. And kids just like
the kids don't know about pimps.
Kids don't know pimps, but kids
don't know any pimps.
Kids don't know pimps, but kids like big huge cats. Big cats with tall hats, and so they're laughing because it's a cat, but I'm laughing because he's talking to a garden hoe like it's his pimp.
And I love that kind of humor.
And that's what Hobbit.
If that interests you, you can sign up for classes at Planet Ant.
Yeah, we'll talk to you. What you can do is sign up for our class, write jokes for the big boys, but for projects for the little boys. And what that class is that you're learning to write a movie that's for kids, but with jokes for the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at each other and we're saying like, oh, I see what they're doing. But then the kids are just having fun because it's a big cat.
And it breaks my heart that Milhouse had to not be friends with Bart for a while in this episode, because fundamentally the show is predicated on their friendship, and it hurts my feelings when Milhouse doesn't want to hang out with them.
I know, agreed, and I love how much it hurts him too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Homer defined. This is fucking Stone Cold classic.
Yep.
Right off the bat. Let's just say
absolutely.
This is one of the. I think this is probably one of the most famous episodes. For good reason.
It's a good episode.
And I think, honestly, that this is a message from the people who make this show at this particular time in the world, where they're saying, we're gonna step up a little bit. We're gonna make this show more than what you might have expected it to ever be.
Yep.
In this moment, this is where they're saying like, we're gonna go a little deeper. We're gonna put a little more in, like, and you can see all of that coming together. I loved it.
Yeah,
I was a big fan.
I really liked it. I think that this episode went from, I mean, it went all over the place, and it felt like every episode we've all agreed that we love. They go all over the place, and it feels so natural. It flows so natural between these different things.
I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, is that the ones that don't quite connect.
Right.
Is they're still walking good, out and making crazy big bold choices. But it doesn't feel as
they feel more like a sketch show than like a like a linear plot. When this one feels, I mean, but this episode I really liked is, okay, first of all, they did what we need them to do, which is tell a story that is very cohesive. It's got enough emotion. It's got great jokes. It's fast. But what they also did in this episode that I love was they introduced it's called Homer Defined, but they introduced this convention where at one point it's like you look up stupid in the dictionary, you'll see Homer Simpson, and they cut to the dictionary and it shows stupid and Homer Simpson. But then the convention that this keeps this introduces into this episode is throughout the episode it changes. You look up Lucky in the dictionary, you'll see Homer Simpson. And so they introduce this that's kind of a segue between the different sections of this episode are the different definitions of where Homer would be in the dictionary. Which at the end, it's the blow line of what Homer ends up being is what is it? To succeed despite idiocy, or whatever.
To succeed despite idiocy. So he eventually becomes. So early on in the episode, Homer says, "If you look up stupid in the dictionary, you'd see a picture of me," and then they literally show it. By the end of the episode, Homer has become a common word in the vernacular all over. Even Magic Johnson uses it. Yeah,
because he slips in a puddle and the ball falls out of his hand and bounces off the ref and goes in at a 3-point play to win the game. And he falls into a bunch of cheerleaders.
Yeah.
I just pulled a Homer.
To succeed despite idiocy. I've pulled a Homer.
Yep.
It was great. Yeah. So let's fucking talk about it.
So Milhouse.
I like the
Bart,
opening
no
bit
friends.
of Homer reading fucking what is he reading? USA Today or Parade? And
he's
that's
like, a good
this
bit.
is the only paper that's not afraid to tell the truth that everything is just fine.
Yeah, the headline on the front page of USA Today is America's favorite pencil, and then the subhead is number 2 is number 1.
That's a good.
Just feel good.
cover.
Who gives a shit? Bubblegum bullshit.
Bart's excited. I like these episodes that start with these non sequiturs and within the family, especially right now as we are watching the show grow out. We've talked about how we've had our first episodes that were specifically centered on characters that were not the nuclear family. They've also taken the Simpsons out of Springfield already. They're growing out the town. They're growing out the stories. And even this one is become this, like, by the end of it, the plot is so far away from just the nuclear family. So it's nice for something as, like, ranging as this with such a big point to make starts with just the family at the breakfast table.
I like I've seen it in a few episodes now. They do the soap opera Search for the Sun.
Yeah.
I loved the weird, like, just minute of that for no reason in the middle of this episode.
Yeah.
It was like the boss, like, trying to sleep with his secretary and
Was
then
that
firing her.
John Lovitz?
Like, what?
Yeah, it was John Lovitz.
That's what I thought.
Who played also the other the
Shelbyville nuclear power plant owner.
Yeah.
I love that every individual tiny municipality has their own nuclear power plant.
Right, right. I would love to take a look at the Ogdenville one.
Oh, I would kill to see Ogdenville power plant.
You know what? I don't think in the history of Simpsons they've ever been to Ogdenville. No, Marge went to Ogdenville in the monorail episode, didn't she?
I believe so. And I feel like they showed it in a flashback once for some reason, but I can't remember.
Darren, Shelbyville is the neighboring town.
Got it.
They share a border, and the two towns are rivals.
Oh.
And we'll eventually learn more about the difference between Shelbyville and it's a little bit like Pawnee and Eagleton.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That
makes sense because I'm currently
drastic,
rewatching Parks and Rec right now. So
yeah.
What do you like better, the parks or the rec?
I like the rec most of the time, but every once in a while the parks surprise me.
Yeah, I'll say that I usually come for the parks.
Stay for the rec.
But what ends up making me stay is that goddamn rec.
Yeah. And plus, with the Miley Cyrus backing of Rex, it really helps their case.
And we all know what Rex is short for, right? Tyrannosaurus
Wrecking
Rex.
Ball. Oh yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Rexing Ball. Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah. And can you remind me again? What is Parks?
Parkour. It's
Parkour.
Parkour.
So the show is Parkour and Tyrannosaurus Rexing Ball.
Yep, that's what it's about. I mean, you've seen it. You know.
And that's my favorite show is Parkour and Tyrannosaurus Rexing Ball. And because that's my favorite show because Aziz is because he pretends like he's got so much money, but he works for local government, and that's funny.
Yeah.
Because obviously he works in a local government office. He's not a millionaire.
No, he's not.
So where's he getting all this cashmere? And then it's also funny that Andy is dumb because obviously.
I just got to the point where it's post. He gets littler. He loses a bunch of weight. Was it for Guardians of the Galaxy or some shit like that, or something like that?
Guardians of
Jurassic World.
Was it Jurassic World? Whatever movie it was, he lost a bunch of weight from. I love
big T-Rex movie.
I love when he comes back and it's just like they open on a scene with him and Ben talking. He's like, "Yeah, and I just stopped drinking beer," and then Ben goes, "All you did was stop drinking beer." But it's so funny how they justify that with just like a real quick one-liner and a walk away. Here on Parks and
like, how much beer were you drinking? Probably too much.
Probably too much.
I heard Chris Pratt is a bad pet owner.
Isn't he like a big Jesus guy? Big Jesus guy now? I
believe so.
I think he is too. Interesting.
I'm a big Jesus guy in that what I believe is that Jesus was 18 feet tall.
You're a big Jesus guy in the way that some people are flat earthers.
Anna Faris pays $5,000 fine after her emaciated rescue dog was found homeless.
Oh my
5 years after Chris Pratt tried to give their cat away on Twitter.
Oh, jeez. That's
so yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to talk about this after the stream. I'm happy to, because I know I'm one of only a handful of people in the big Jesus community.
Right.
But Jesus was 18 feet tall, and he had a big blue ox and had pancakes.
So you love the movie Fargo, where they drive past that big statue of Jesus.
Yeah,
right.
That huge statue of Jesus. Or in It Chapter 2, when the big Jesus comes alive and attacks the kids. Oh my God.
You do sometimes. You said, do you want to come over and watch The Passion of the Christ? And we sat down, but you put on the Iron Giant.
Yeah. I don't know why in American culture they say that it's that his name's Paul Bunyan when obviously it's Big Jesus.
Big Jesus.
Yeah. and his disciples, Babe the Big Blue Ox.
Babe Pig in the City.
And Baby.
Shamu.
Oh my God. That's real. Okay.
Charlotte and her web.
No matter, honestly, wherever, whatever time of day it is, whatever I might be doing, if I appear to be busy, if I appear to be stressed out or upset or sad or angry, please walk up to me or text me whenever you feel like it and ask me what's the good word about Big Jesus, because I'm willing to share the gospel.
God damn it.
So, Homer defined.
Homer defined.
There's some funny stuff in here. I like a lot of things. It made me laugh.
I think this is the first example of Homer, like making and then blank something silly. So that's gonna be a time-honored.
What? I don't understand what
So
you said.
there's a time-honored, true Homer joke structure of him hearing something and thinking it sounds delicious and saying like fritters or something like this. And like there's a bunch of absurd examples of him saying, I can't think of any right now. But in this episode, he goes purple because he's looking at a grape jelly donut.
Yeah.
So from here on out, they'll get like
most famously, he'll be like, donuts.
Donuts. But some of them are like absurd.
Yeah.
Like he'll say like, calculus or something like that, just off the top of my head. Here he says purple.
And that's preposterous because who could eat calculus? It's
because math
conceptual.
So it took me a long time in school to understand that math wasn't something that you could like touch or poke,
right,
or feel or hold, but that it's in us and around us.
The math was in you all along, Andy.
Yeah, it's in us. You can't hold a division, but you can do it whenever.
Right.
Yes.
That's exactly
that was
correct.
tough. That was a little conceptual for you, but you wrapped your head around it.
Eventually, last year.
Last year, yes. You had an epiphany.
I had
on stage.
Yeah, I like in the middle of a show, I stopped and screamed, "Math makes sense to me now." I screamed, "Math makes sense to me now," and I sprinted out of the theater. You guys all remember that?
Yeah. Jeez.
I think my favorite. I don't know if it's too early to do favorite joke of the episode, but I can't fucking get over Milhouse on the seesaw alone.
Oh,
that's
classic Milhouse.
We have used as an image to promote this show. I made a meme out of that. Like waiting for the next Homerphilia live stream.
Mm-hmm. God, I love that.
That's a good bit. You know me. Well, first of all, I did love the just the run of Smithers being bitter towards Homer, kind of taking his spot for a minute there. But still, I think my joke's the same as last week. I love Burns not remembering Homer. I love it so much, and I love how regular it's becoming. I think it's hilarious. And I think it's so funny that like I don't know what Smithers said. I don't know what Smithers said to Burns today when they were looking at Homer on the monitor. But again, it's just another one of just like that whole bit. Oh, it's just one of the boobs from Sex or whatever or whatever.
Today he did not have a joke for him today, but he said that's Homer Simpson. And then Burns asks him, "Is he one of our upstanding employees?" And Smithers lets him know that Homer was a hire of Project Bootstrap. There was a lot of good Smithers moments in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, Burns is very angry and he tells somebody to kiss my ass. And Smithers looks at him and says, "Can I do it, sir?"
And there's other moments too of like, where's my radiation suit? How should I know? Like that kind of. It's just Smithers Burns just not returning any amount of affection whatsoever. I also like when Homer takes the Employee of the Month parking spot and it's right next to Mr. Burns' spot. And the second he parks in it, he opens his car door and makes a big dent on Burns' car, and then says, "Oh, he'll never know who did it," which is hilarious.
So this is to break it down a little bit. Homer saves the day from a nuclear disaster, and this is another great example of the classic Simpsons story arc of like kind of uninitiated opener, and then we seamlessly transition to A and B plot.
Right. And
when Simpsons is firing in all cylinders like they are here, you've got an amazing A plot, the Homer story, and an incredible B plot. In this case, Bart finding out that Milhouse, his best friend's mom, will not let him play with Milhouse anymore. And both of them are great. And again, they never really tie these stories in together. But it's not something that you need or are missing from these episodes. I don't know, Simpsons, like from a show like this, I would normally expect these two storylines to somehow intersect. But with the Simpsons, when they're really hitting, they don't necessarily have to find a way to connect the two stories.
No, they don't. And they can be, I mean, I think I was talking about this the other day, but like Seinfeld has a way of pulling all of their plots together and weaving it like it's one thing. I think it's like this, they use their A and B plots like melody, counter melody.
Yeah.
They complement, but they are not.
And there's moments of overlap too, like where they're sitting at the table and both Homer and Bart are upset, you know, and like they don't need to be the reason. I mean, I think that there can be like really great episodes where everything feels like perfect storm or whatever, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Bart, don't feed your sister hotels.
Yeah.
When he's playing Monopoly and Maggie is looking at a hotel and he goes, "Why? There's plenty of them."
Just watching Bart just like completely cheat at Monopoly just because he's playing with a baby and having a great time.
Yes.
He's having a great time grifting a baby. It's very funny to me watching somebody just like grift a baby.
I do like the way that rolls off the tongue. Grifting a baby. Grifting a baby.
Baby grift.
Babies are helpless. You can grift them out of whatever they own. It's very easy. They can't chase after you.
Yeah. But I will. I've been down this road, Devin, and I want to tell you right now. I know what you're probably thinking, and the Gerber baby has a lot of weight behind it, and a powerful team of attorneys protecting its money. and
I need that baby's mushy food. I need it so bad.
It's not a good idea to con the Gerber baby. It's too
The supply chain right now at grocery stores is a mess. And if I had unfettered access to as much mushy food as I needed, I'm planning a heist. I'm assembling a team, and I'm going to rob the Gerber baby.
The Gerber baby's too powerful. Don't do it. I'm telling you right
I'm
now.
also going to rob the baby that lives in the sun for Teletubbies.
Oh, boy. All right. It's your funeral. Why would you pick the two most powerful babies in the world? I mean, like, there are millions of babies out there.
But if you come for the king, you better not miss, and I'm not going to miss. I'm a sharpshooter, okay?
All right. All right.
Why would you pick a lesser baby? Why would you sell yourself short? I'm an ambitious man.
All right. I don't want to hear you coming to me for help when the Gerber baby's attorneys have you trapped in a corner. I'm
going for the big two one night. Hitting both of the big boys one night.
I loved the how just boom 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 the basically montage of the nuclear disaster was just
that felt great.
Every single little throwaway was phenomenal, from like the newscaster stuff to the stuff with Grandpa at the old folks' home, to to watching the meltdown at the plant while Burns is just bold-faced lying about it. Every single setup they had was a big joke, and that's when it's just like joke, laugh, 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 laugh. It's just great.
It was great, and it showed the scope of how it instilled a sense of real danger.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's worried. The whole town's worried. The world is watching.
Like when they're going at that pace, like literally nothing is wasted. It was so funny to me when they're transitioning from these quick clips of people freaking out about the disaster, and they go home, and the first thing they show at the Simpsons home is the TV, and they're talking about it at on the news. And you hear the newscaster go, and now we have reports of roving bandits. And then Marge starts talking, and she steals auditory focus from the TV. So that's all you hear about from that story, is that there are roving bandits out in the just shit like that. It's just like they're firing so fast. It's phenomenal.
I love that.
Yeah.
There was such an economy to the jokes, and it moved so perfectly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It was good. I think this episode rocked.
Oh, at the end of
totally rocked.
So Homer plays Meeny Miny Mo and hits a button, and it ends up being the right one and becomes a hero. So Mr. Burns goes back on TV. And Kent Brockman apologizes to Mr. Burns for being an alarmist, when he had every right to be to report on. Well, anyway, he says, I will be more careful of nuclear hysteria in the future. I will be more trusting and less vigilant in the future. That's very funny to me.
Fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Freaking rocks. Yeah, I thought this was a satisfying journey.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, Homer, goes from stupid to when he inadvertently saves the day by accidentally picking the right button, his dictionary goes to lucky, and then he has a real moral journey about the attention he receives and the awards he receives. He feels really bad that people think he's a hero. That was interesting to me.
Yeah, this is an unusually complex amount of emotion for Homer to process.
He gets an award, Employee of the Month, and on the plaque it says for heroic competence. That's great. Lisa Lisa is inspired by her dad, which very rarely happens. I do love the moments that Lisa has looks at her dad as a hero because they're so few and far between. But when she does, that attention kind of makes him uncomfortable. That's always funny to me.
I love it.
Like Homer deep down knows he's not deserving of the feeling of pride from Lisa. He's Magic Johnson calls him in the middle of a game. That's great.
That ruled.
Again, like just these weird little throwaways. Like they take the time to let the athletic trainer say, if you go back out there on this busted knee, you could ruin your career. And Magic Johnson just goes, I don't care. He's just gonna keep playing. It's very funny. And that never pays off. It's just like a weird little throwaway.
What was that?
For an episode with so much Milhouse in it, I don't know. It was such a Milhouse-centric storyline. I wish he would have had more of the jokes of it.
Yeah.
But what are you going to
do? Yeah. I loved the Bart the moment with Bart where he knows that Marge goes to speak with Mrs. Van Houten and then she decides that Milhouse and Bart can play together again, and Bart is so excited to go play with Milhouse, and he thanks Marge on his way out the house. And she's like, how do you know it was me? How do you know I was the one that stuck up for you or whatever? And he's like, well, who else would? And that's
so sad and heartwarming.
Yeah. Because like that is the tragedy of Bart. Like, the system. It's a testament to some of the problems with the American, education system. Like, Bart is a prototypical example of the kid that falls through the cracks, right?
Yeah.
Like the Simpsons always aims their targets at institutions and the problems with them, including the education system. And we continuously watch people fail this kid that just needs some simple guidance. Bart is a smart kid. Maybe not traditionally book smart, but he is smart, intuitive. He's loving. He's nurturing, but nobody feeds into those aspects of him. They just see the bad, and they are always so quick to dismiss him. So, like little moments like that are so heartbreaking and just kind of beautiful to see him, connect with his mom on that way.
It was so sweet.
Yeah,
that was a really, really good moment in this episode.
Yeah, but then so you see that sweet little moment, and he's out the door ready to go play with Milhouse for again, and he grabs his BB gun because
Deadeye BB gun.
Yeah,
Deadeye brand BB gun, and it's gonna go.
Deadeye brand BB gun. Or the moment when he tells Marge what's going on. He's like, Milhouse's mom won't let me hang out with him. She thinks I'm a bad influence. And then he looks at Maggie and he goes, come on, Maggie, let's go throw rocks at that hornet's nest. He just he doesn't. He's completely incapable of connecting his actions to consequence.
Yeah, for real. It was that cracked me up.
So yeah, do we want to do so he becomes a hero. He's a hero at the nuclear plant. He's a hero at the Shelbyville nuclear plant. When he goes to give a speech there, they also have a meltdown, and they plead with him to do what he did at the Springfield plant to save them. and then they watch him do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and are horrified by what he's doing, leaving it up to chance. So he saves the day there, but people watched him do it, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" And the head of the plant goes like, "Do you even know what button you pushed?" And Homer goes, "Sure, Mo, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, I know what button I pushed, Mo." That's great.
It's a good bit.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Oh, I did. I also loved when Marge went over to talk to Mrs. Van Houten.
Yeah.
She goes, "You remember me? We met when the boys were in the hospital because they drank paint." and then Mrs. Van Houten's big complaint about Bart is that Milhouse told her that her meatloaf sucks.
They don't say that word on TV.
They don't say that word on TV. So do we want to do favorite jokes?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with fucking Milhouse Alone on the Seesaw. Their rules.
I'm sticking with Burns not recognizing Homer. It gets me every time, man. It gets me every time.
That's very funny. I think that mine is probably sure Mo. That is so funny.
Sure, Mo.
Do you know what he plays? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo with everybody's lives in Shelbyville, and the guy asks him if he knows what button he pushed, and he says, "Yeah, I pushed the Mo button." There was a good Burns moment when he tells Homer that he wants to turn all of these slack offs at the plant from donut eating goof offs into a pack of Homer Simpsons. That was also a good joke.
I love Burns so much.
I also did like the Smithers think TGIM bit at the beginning when they're talking about all the workers coming back for their punishments after their 2 days of whatever hangovers. That was a funny little exchange there too. What are you talking favorite apps now?
Oh, I will say another great joke is when Homer's napping when the first meltdown starts, and he wakes up. He wakes up and he's like, "Oof, this is somebody's problem." And then he looks at his station and he goes, "Oh my God, it's my problem. We're screwed." He just has so little faith in himself.
It reminds you of the fact that Homer is the most incompetent man in the world, and his job is a nuclear plant safety inspector.
Yeah, and that he is fully aware and owns his own incompetence.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah. Are we at favorite ep?
I believe
I think so.
we are,
I'm not
buddy.
changing. I'm Lisa's substitute.
Wow.
I am changing. I'm changing to this one.
Yeah.
I'm changing right here, up here to this one.
I'm with you.
I think it's a good app. I think it's. Where are you guys both gone?
No,
you're
I'm
there.
right here.
No.
I think that this app was through and through. It had hard. It had rapid fire. It had great jokes. It was a good app. I liked it. I liked it the most so far of all. So that's my justification.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is number one.
Yep. And you're still Lisa's substitute, Devin?
I'm not changing. I'm staying there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that we're gonna change a lot in season 3.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even more come season 4 and 5 and 6.
I believe it.
I think I might have been trigger happy in the last couple. I said Bart the Murderer was my favorite episode last week, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like very excited about watching some of these and getting things together. This episode really reminds me like what The Simpsons is and will continue to grow into moving forward. and this is the kind of shit I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm for sure changing to this one.
Good. Cool.
Hell yeah. You guys got sponsors?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
My sponsor is just General Bit Rates. They're
General
dependable.
Bit Rates, we salute you.
General Bit. Yeah.
General Bitrate, we salute you.
Great.
AMD sponsors?
My sponsor is the Merovingian.
We are going on record saying that not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, we are doing The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, okay. Are we really? Okay.
Wait,
We're
doing,
covering it.
We're doing.
Should
I
we
missed
do-
that whole
should
part.
we watch both? Should we
Yeah,
watch
why not? Who gives a shit?
Reloaded and Revolutions?
Well, I don't think I've ever
I-
seen both of those, so let's do it.
Are you serious?
I am
Oh,
serious.
you know what? I'm realizing right now that this is from the failed mini stream we did earlier.
Yeah.
Guys, go back and listen to our unintelligible first stream to hear our great bits about the Merovingian from Matrix Reloaded.
Oh man, I missed that entire conversation trying to fix the audio. Damn. Oh,
And
well.
if you had to guess, Darren, what would you say a Merovingian is, and why is it in this, and why is it in the Matrix?
The mayor of a place called Indian. I don't know.
Mayor.
The mayor of God damn it.
Mayor Vingian. my name is Mayor Hank Vingian.
Obviously, we got to the Merovingian discussion because we were talking about some of the dirtiest ghosts we could think of.
That makes sense.
And Merovingian has two very dirty ghosts because they got dirty dreadlocks.
Great. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for Homerphilia tonight, right?
Yeah.
We're running a little
Well,
late.
you mentioned, I want to thank our sponsor.
Oh, you got a sponsor.
Crab Raccoons.
Oh, crab raccoons.
If you're hungry and you need.
God, I
tasty
can't believe
snack,
we
go
lost
get the
that in the
Crab
first
Raccoon.
one too.
No, Crab Raccoon.
No, that was this one.
Oh, really? Good.
We're
Crab,
losing our minds.
crab raccoons is good.
Yeah,
Crab Raccoon racks.
Also,
Also, oops, all just the box.
Oops, all just the box was definitely from the
Where
Where
first
it's
one.
just an empty box with nothing in it.
Hey, I'll say this: every single podcast that I listen to regularly has at least one lost episode.
Oh yeah.
So we were not really an official.
I
like,
mean, we actually
cult
led off
podcast.
with a lost episode. If you don't
That's
remember,
true.
we lost our very first episode we ever
Yeah,
recorded.
we had to re-record the pilot of this show, didn't we? I forgot about
I
Yeah.
that.
forgot about
God
that.
damn it.
We all we as a group committed to doing a 700 plus episode limited podcast, and we started by first recording.
Ah.
Oh well.
Oh, so now we're gonna finish in 17 years and 1 week instead of just 17 years. I forgot about that.
If we come up short by a week, if something happens, if the world ends, if one of us dies,
Yeah, you're gonna be so
it's gonna be
mad.
fucked up. I'm gonna be so mad.
Could you imagine if it all the way to the penultimate episode of The Simpsons, and then we're set to record the finale, and one of us dies?
Oh jeez,
Oh, that would rock.
that would be
I'd
so
come back as a
cool.
dirty ghost.
Hell
But
yeah.
we did say that if we ever catch up to The Simpsons, Anna is gonna choose a Simpsons themed tattoo for us all to get.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's great. I'm into it. Great. Well, we'll see you guys on. What are we watching on Thursday? Dunstan Checks In.
Dunstan checks in with Chris Fortin.
So if you
Chris
want to
Fortin,
watch
man.
Dunstan Checks In, that's what we're gonna be talking about next Thursday on
Yeah.
Homerphilia.
So if anybody's listening out there, we're gonna slow it down a little bit because we are recording these episodes with kind of yucky audio. We don't want to flood up stinky audio. We don't want to flood our stream with too many stinky audio clips into the time that we are going to be able to record together. So we're going to slow it down. Some of the Thursday episodes, we're not going to do Simpsons. We're going to do other stuff. We did an Ernest Goes to Africa episode. You can look back and watch. We're going to do Dunstan Checks In. with Dunstan himself, Chris 4chan, on Thursday, and apparently we're gonna watch 6 hour what 4.5 hours of terrible Matrix movie.
Yep, we are. Chat. So everybody, a couple people in the chat are asking what I keep throwing. I trained my cat how to play fetch. That's one of the projects I've been working on in this quarantine. So now my cat, it comes up to me, and it stands here like this. If you can, I don't know if you can see it right down there, but it brings a paper ball to me, and it just meows endlessly until I throw that ball. So that's what I continue to throw. I have put myself in a position in which a cat controls my every moment. But yeah, so that's to answer your question, chat. That's this ball I have right here. I throw it, the cat runs and gets it, and then the cat comes back and it meows until I throw it again. So this is the prison I've built for myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say you did that to yourself, buddy.
Here, oh look, the cat's back. The paper ball's back. I'll throw it again. She will yell at me for a half hour if I do not throw it again. So that's where we're at. But yeah, so I think that's where we're gonna leave it tonight, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
All right, everybody.
Go back and,
we will
listen to the
see
Chris
you.
Fortin episode.
We
if
will
you need,
see you on Thursday. All right,
yeah.
bye.